Hello everyone, my name is Simon Bukenya. I work with Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa as a program officer under the Agroecology and Climate Change program. And I also support the AFSA youth platform activities. The young people in this age and era are very much important to be involved in all these spaces, especially the climate policy spaces. Driving the agroecology agenda is not only for the elder generation, because without the younger generation, then the agenda will not be pushed forward in the future. So it's very much important to engage the young people, both at the national level, at the regional level, and at the global levels. And the young people actually have a mandate and responsibility to ensure that they fight for their future, a future that is going to be healthy, and agroecology provides for that future. So it's upon all the young people in Africa to ensure that they push and advocate for agroecology, to lobby their policymakers to make sure that they include and embed agroecology within the national, regional, and global policies, because agroecology presents a strong case whereby the young people benefit more with little input, and whereby it's inclusive, and young people are going to benefit from the knowledge that is coming out of the older generations. But also they have a responsibility to safeguard their environments, their agriculture, their food, their climate, to ensure that we have a healthy Africa and a healthy future for Africa. The NAPs and NDCs are very much important policies that are being revised, and some are being implemented already in some countries. From a youth perspective, it's actually very much important to engage the young people in the revision of the nationally determined contributions, which are the NDCs, and the national adaptation plans, which are the NAPs, to ensure that they also put in a voice and put in additions and complements to these policies. But also, because these are policies that are being strategized and implemented for the future, that means that now the youth are trying to plant a seed for the future. So if they put in their voice into these policies, a voice of agroecology, that means it's going to benefit them in the years to come. For COP29, first of all, before I go into the Youth Summit, it's very much important because this is a COP whereby it's going to be focused on finance, climate finance, and climate finance actually is very much important for the youth, because the youth are one of the marginalized groups when it comes to climate change effects, and they need to lobby more to ensure that the finances are released from the developed countries, especially the global north, and to ensure that the loss and damage funds are actually actualized and implemented to make sure that they actually benefit the youth. For example, we have the global adaptation program, which actually has a board, and that youth board is working hand in hand with the different governments and the UNFCCC to ensure that the funds are released. So this COP is very much important. When we go to the Youth Summit, the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa is actually organizing the biggest youth event in Africa for this year. This summit is hinged around the climate crisis and how the youth can provide solutions to the effects of the climate crisis. Talking about agroecology as a measure, agroecology as a pathway to achieving sustainable food systems, to achieving improved livelihoods, improved standards of living, to conserving biodiversity, and also leveraging on indigenous knowledge, and also having it mixed up with contemporary technology to ensure that we have resilient communities, we have resilient futures for Africa. So the summit is bringing together a number of African youth from over 50 African countries in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and these young people are going to be deliberating on the solutions to the challenges that African youth face when it comes to food systems in Africa. And African youth are very innovative and creative. They have ideas that we believe and strongly need to front to ensure that we build a resilient African, resilient and healthy food systems for Africa.